We are what? We are who? We are what? Vibrant. We are who? 50 plus. Hi, welcome to Gray Lives on the Rise. I am your host, Professor Jamila Franklin, and we are coming to you from Oyende Enterprises, being sponsored by Jamila Sense, which is our product line of aromatherapy products that helps heal the mind, body, and soul. And we are bringing to you Alamaj's rebirthing program, as well as Jamila Sense, and a host of wonderful programs that will help heal your body, heal your soul, and heal your mind. 50 plus people, we are here to stay. Gray Lives on the Rise. We are what? We are who? We are vibrant, and we are here to stay. Join us for our wonderful episodes. Thank you, and continue to look for our episodes weekly, being brought to you again from Oyende Enterprises and Jamila Sense. See you soon. Greetings, everyone. Guess what time it is? Gray Lives on the Rise. Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or whatever time it is, wherever you are. It's the good time, the right time. Anyway, thank you for coming, for joining us again. If it's your first time, I am Professor Jamila Franklin. I'm the CEO and the founder of Oyende Enterprises, which is underwriting and sponsoring Gray Lives on the Rise. You see my shirt? Gray Lives on the Rise. And it's also sponsoring Jamila Sense. And Jamila Sense is the product line that I have, right? Okay. And it's a wonderful, wonderful all-natural aromatherapy product line that I have. I always have to try to position this because the camera's got it different. And anything that you have, we can deal with it in terms of aromatherapy. Jamila Sense has Peace Be Still, which is the one that I'm featuring now, and it's amazing. It gets rid of stress, anxiety, depression, hyperactivity within children, sinus congestion, sinus headaches, migraine headaches, flies and mosquitoes when I come near you. And you do not take it by mouth. You only put it, like you see how clear it is? You can tell that it's all natural because it's not colored. It doesn't have any dyes or chemicals. So you put it in the palms of your hands, 3 drops, and then you rub it in, and you just breathe in. Oh, and you sing. You feel so good. It's euphoric. And then you put on your arms and your legs and the rest of your body. It acts as a wonderful moisturizer for the body, and it also gets rid of flies and mosquitoes. Like I said, they won't come near you. In alignment. It's amazing. It's amazing. I have other products too. You can go to my website and see some of the other wonderful aromatherapy products that I have. And I also have this wonderful blend in a lotion and in bath salts, okay? This is Peace Be Still, but like I said, I have other products as well. I'm the CEO, like I said, and Great Lives on the Rise came to me as I was walking one day with myself and with someone else. And I said, okay, this download came from Spirit, and basically the download was like, okay, you need to do something for people who are 50 years plus, because there's nothing out there that supports you. And it came from Spirit, God, Allah, Jehovah, whatever name you decide to give this presence, I say, the creator of the universe. But anyway, I thought, wow, that's a great idea. So I started to think, I said, okay, what should I call it? And then Great Lives Matter. I said, nah, that's overplayed, it's cliche-ish. Too many people are using, lives matter or whatever. I said, no. And then Great Lives on the Rise came to me, pop. I said, yeah, because I said, there's nothing that addresses our needs except Medicare. And when you hear Medicare, you think of people who are old, feeble, can barely make it, or AARP, and you think of people who are retired, and most of my friends are not in either category. They have their own businesses, so some are still working because we're vibrant, we're alive, we are enthusiastic. So I said, what I decided to do with the inspiration from Spirit was to come up with this massive plan to have a platform where people who are 50 plus could talk about their wonderful, vibrant lives, share their stories with you, and we can create a community. And it's not local, it's not national, it's global. Am I talking to people? People in Australia have had some of the same issues where people dismissed you when you're 50 years and plus. People I know don't even put their years of graduation on because they know they would not get hired. People who are younger are ageist. And you know what the interesting thing is? All of the people in power that I know of, and I know that you know, are 50 plus. Okay, the presidential candidates, people who own businesses. So the mid-level managers are the ones that are really discriminating against us. And so I said, okay, mobilize it, have merchandise that empowers people. When people see gray lives on the rise, they're like, what does that mean? So we tell them, it means that you don't have to have gray hair. You can have black hair, short hair, no hair, long hair, mid-length hair, bald, wigs, braids. It doesn't matter. It's a consciousness. Do you see yourself as important in this, having a voice in this world and being vibrant? That's what we're doing. So I'm mobilizing people via merchandise that come in t-shirts, mugs, like Alice has also. We have everything. We have mugs, pillows, and all of this. We have all of it. So come join us in terms of our movement. When you see this, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay current about what's going on in terms of the movement and tell others about it. It's growing really, really quickly. We're so happy. We're so happy. And join us on our Facebook page because we have wonderful information on our Facebook page. Now, having said all that, I'm going to introduce our lovely, lovely guest whom I've known for about 10 years, I think.
Yes.
She lives in Las Vegas and I live in Atlanta, but she's a beautiful, beautiful soul. And she also expanded the Gray Lives Anthem. Because I said, we are what? We are who? We are vibrant. We are Gray Lives on the Rise. And Alice took that. We put the challenge out to tell people to expand that little jingle that came to me, and she did a wonderful job. And she may also share that jingle with you. So Alice lives in Las Vegas, and she is a unique, one-of-a-kind, unrepeatable, individualized expression of source energy or God. Born and raised on Chicago's South Side, she is a retired elementary, middle school teacher and counselor. She currently resides in North Las Vegas, Nevada. She is the mother of 2 sons and 1 daughter, grandmother of 5 granddaughters, 2 grandsons, and great-grandmother of 1 grandson. Alice is a lifelong learner, which is so true. I love that about her. Love that about her. Is a lifelong learner and holds 2 bachelor's degrees, 2 master's degrees, a master's certificate from Theological Seminary, and she's currently working on a PhD. Isn't she awesome? She's awesome. She's awesome. She's awesome. She's also a talented vocalist, as we experienced with the anthem that she created, and recording artist and former full-figure model. Yeah. Her interest in health and healing led her to become a colon hydrotherapist, as well as a Reiki master and energy medicine practitioner. She worked with me to get a certification. She's amazing. She's amazing. Alice describes herself as a spiritual traveler following an eternal path that lights up with each forward step she takes. Her quote, "My way is illumined as I make my way, learning and growing." So we were just talking about her title earlier. So let's give them the title, Alice.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. My title is Allow Spirit to Help You Navigate Your Way Through This Labyrinth Called Life.
Mm.
Kind of wordy, but I'm kind of wordy.
No, that's fine. I love it. I love it. Every time I talk to Alice, even though I've known her for 10 years, I learned something more about her wonderful life. I was like, wow, she's lived a very interesting, colorful, amazing life. She's also trained with the late, great Johnny Coleman, who was a metaphysical teacher in Chicago. And she's also trained with me through my institute. As a matter of fact, we're going to do another show in a couple of weeks about her training with me. But she's just amazing. Every time I have a conversation with her, she's either done what we're talking about, is doing what we're talking about, or will do what we're talking about. And she's a lifelong learner. That's what I love about her. And she's always open to learning wonderful and great things from anyone, regardless of age. And as she's in the golden years as I of her life, because we don't use the words elderly, senior, and old. We don't use those words because those words don't describe us. But as she's in this wonderful stage of her life, she's still learning and she's still pursuing her PhD in metaphysics. And this is amazing. So Alice, tell us about little Alice and what led you to this path of metaphysics.
Wow.
What was baby Alice like?
Oh, let me see. Baby Alice was a very serious child. If you looked at my baby picture, I have this really serious look on my face like, what is this all about? And I think that's what I came here with.
Yeah.
Who am I? Where did I come from? Where am I going?
Mm-hmm.
And what am I supposed to be doing? And that's the look I see on my baby picture. And my grandmother had said to me, "You were such a serious child." And I said, okay. And my younger life was interesting. My parents didn't stay together. And as a result, there were three of us, my older sister, my younger brother, and myself. And my younger brother and I ended up in foster care from the age of 4 until 8. I was a foster child, which was it was part of my journey. And I understand that. And I had a foster parent who was very, very religious and very strict and from the South. And she believed in you do not spare the rod or you will spoil the child. And her idea of disciplining was beat that behind. Okay. And it was didn't understand that. It just, to me, I'm sure I didn't have the vocabulary then, but later I said that was just brutal. That was brutality. That's crazy. I would never do that to a kid.
Yeah.
So as a result, I always say my passion is music, but my love is children. I love children because I never ever forgot how it felt to be a kid. I never forgot it. So naturally, I ended up teaching. And I would always look across the desk, every year, and I'd say, I remember when I was on the other side of that desk. How can I make this inviting and not threatening to them? But I loved school. I really loved school because it was my safe place. It was where I could go and be safe. And I learned so much. But at home, it was a lot of religion. And I was the kid that raised her hand in Sunday school, and they wouldn't call on me because I was always asking questions. And they did not want
As
to
you
answer my
should.
questions. And my big question was, if Jesus is God, how can Jesus be God's son?
Mm.
And if God is my father and Jesus is God's son, is Jesus my brother?
Mm-hmm.
And they'd say, sit down and don't ask that no more. And so I had this problem with religion, and we stayed in church all day on Sunday. We had um, Sunday school, then regular service, then dinner after church, and then we come back and go to BTU. And then I was like, okay. And I got baptized when I was 5. Um, my brother, I think he was 3 or 4. And my sister got baptized too with us, but we were separated from our sister. Our sister lived with our grandmother because she was old enough to be a latchkey, but we weren't. You know, I was 4 and he was like almost 2. So we we were we had this very, very staunch religious upbringing. And
Mm-hmm.
I would see my sister once a month. They would come and visit us, and oh, I'd long to be with my family, and would be with my tribe. And
Yeah.
one day, my daddy showed up because he had gone to the service, but he showed up, and my foster parent had said to me, "Go get some boxes." We got some boxes, and she threw all our stuff in there. And daddy showed up, and he took our boxes, and we left, and we went to live with him and my grandmother. That was the absolute happiest day of my life. Oh my God.
Wow.
So
Wow.
little Alice didn't have to go to church every Sunday all day because grandmother said, well, you need to go to church, but if you want to go to church, you can go with your uncle. My uncle and my aunt lived downstairs with their daughters. And so we went to church with them on Sundays. And they were pretty devout, but nobody told me to shut up. I got to ask questions.
Mm.
And and the best thing was they would say, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say, well, then I need to find out for myself. And the most rewarding thing about going to church was I got to join the choir at 8 years old.
Mm.
And that's when I found out I can sing. Okay. I'll go to church because I can sing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
the going to church kind of wore thin after a while. And I wanted to know more about God, Jesus, the angels. So my grandmother allowed my sister and I to go to whatever church we wanted to. So we
Mm.
walked around the corner to the Catholic church. We went to the Lutheran church. We went to the Methodist church. And that's when I realized that I was a seeker.
Mm-hmm.
I was seeking and searching for some answers to my
Mm-hmm.
questions. And that's really what spirit is. Spirit is that essence, that core of your being. And when you finally get in touch with it, when you finally understand that it's the core of your being, and that we are human beings. No, we are spiritual beings having human experiences. And those human experiences are there to help you grow. Now,
Exactly.
I got and then I went into the Far Eastern mysticism. I went into Ekankar, Buddhism. Oh, I've been on a lot of paths. And what it helped me do was I found the thread that went through all of these religions.
Ah,
Okay. It's like,
elaborate. Uh-huh.
yeah, it's a spoke. It's like a wheel, and there's a hub, and then all these spokes are the different religions, but
Yeah.
they all lead to the hub.
Yeah.
And the one thread, or there's 3 threads, but the main one was there is a center, and you're all connected to it. Number 2.
Yes.
And
We're the
you're
different
all
spokes.
We're the different
Well,
spokes.
yeah.
The religions are the different spokes, but that there is, well, now we know it's the quantum field, the ether, whatever they call it, and everything is energy and everything is connected. So
Exactly.
my path, my labyrinth, because this life is a labyrinth. The Catholic churches have labyrinths outside most of their, or the Catholic religion, most of their hospitals have a labyrinth outside that you can walk.
For those who may not be familiar with the labyrinth, can you just
It's
give
it's a
a
maze.
brief?
It's a
Okay.
maze. It's like in Greek mythology, it was what the King Minos put the Minotaur in, and he couldn't find his way out. So
So
a
it's just like
labyrinth.
when people have uh in laboratories or whatever, they put mice in a maze.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
you're trying to
yes,
find your way out. And they have some games, computer games, where you start
yes,
and and these little quirky paths that you're trying to find
yeah.
your way to the end. Okay.
And that's what your life is like. And there are a couple of labyrinths here in Las Vegas outside of Catholic churches. And
Mm,
I Audrey and I would walk them regularly. And
mm,
it's like while I was walking, I'd say, "Yep, got a dead end. Okay, I learned how to pivot. Okay, go
mm-hmm.
back the other way." And that's what life is. Now,
Yeah.
spirit, if you get in touch with your spirit and you cultivate spirituality by practicing yoga, meditation,
Mm,
prayer,
mm,
using your creativity,
mm.
dancing, singing, artistic, bent, you will get in touch with it, and that's your higher self. And,
Yes.
and my goal is to stay in touch with my higher self
Yes.
and not be pulled back into the default self,
Yes.
which does the things that the matrix says or the things you can't do.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so my real quick story is I did everything that I was supposed to do. Grandmother wanted me to go to school and be a teacher so that I could make money and not have to be a maid like she was. She
Yeah.
said, "You go to school and you get some book learning." And I was like, "Okay." So I did that. I got married. I had the 3 kids. Everything was, I lived in a beautiful whatever, but there was something missing.
Mm-hmm.
It was like something nagging at me saying, This is not all there is." And
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
a song out that says, "Is that all there is?
Yeah.
Is that all there is? If that's all there is, my friend, then let's keep dancing."
Yeah.
you know. And
But
I was like,
like you. Yes.
and then I started seeing things like my mate he just was not doing the things that I thought we should be doing. He was not being a good role model to my children and my spirit. This is when I got into a metaphysical church because I had been to all these other churches. I've been
Mm-hmm.
choir director, children's Sunday school, just looking, even in my grown up years. But I got into Johnny Coleman's church, and she was preaching something totally different, and it
Mm.
started me on that path of what is going on here,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I started getting answers.
Mm-hmm.
And when I moved out of Chicago, well, even with that church, I left that church because you're constantly growing.
Exactly. That's part of the labyrinth that you're talking about. You
Absolutely.
know?
You grow and you find your way, you work your way out of the labyrinth. You really do get out of the labyrinth. And once you're out of the labyrinth, you're like, freedom,
Mm-hmm.
expansion,
But it takes
joy.
but it takes the maze to prune you.
Yes,
If you don't have any
yes,
of the
yes.
challenging experiences, like the yin always has to accompany the yang in the third dimension. You're gonna have both the polar opposites, and those
Right.
things that spur you on to greater growth. Yeah, so continue with them. Yeah.
So the traditional things that I had grown up following, do
Mhm.
this and do this and you'll be happy and do that and do that. But there is a yearning. There is something, it's your spirit.
Yes, burning inside.
Your spirit is saying,
Yes.
come up higher, do
Yes,
a little better. Your reach should always extend beyond your grasp.
I
And
love that. I love that.
and my grandmother would say, you just are never satisfied. You're just a gypsy. Because I would move at the drop of a hat. I
Hmm.
picked my children up and I left Chicago and moved to Arizona. Didn't know nobody. But
Mm.
Arizona had this marvelous school district. And I had been teaching in Chicago for almost 20 years. But
Mm.
I knew that I was not maximizing my potential. I
Mhm.
just knew that. And it was a gnawing, it was a nagging. I was making good money,
Mm.
well, what they say was good money. And I had pushed their dad away because he just was not doing right. And I
Mhm.
deserved better.
Exactly. And ladies, hear what this beautiful soul is saying. She had three small children, and she pushed the father of the children away because he wasn't living up to his potential, and her vibrational frequency, her energy
Yes.
level outgrew him. So
Yes.
don't stay in relationships just because the person is your child's parent. That's the worst thing to do. Just see if you're growing in the relationship. And if you're not, and if that other person isn't willing to grow either, then
Right.
it's time to part.
Yeah, we wanted different things, and he was showing my young sons the wrong things to do. And
Yeah.
and Spirit said, "You got to stop this right now."
Yeah.
So I got out of that. The children were a little bit upset, but they would call him up and say, "Daddy, would you come and cook us a pot roast? Because Mommy doesn't cook it like you do." And I'd say, "You don't need no pot roast." But we moved. I moved them. I didn't move them right away. We wandered around, but we were so happy when he was gone. It was like a weight had been lifted off the house. The energy just was not right. I
Hmm.
was not going to have him hollering at my children, and because words hit harder than a fist.
They do.
And I was
They
like,
do.
no, and my boys were not going to grow up having him as a template. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't hit or anything like that, but I just did not like the way
The
he talked to
words.
my children. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the nursery rhyme is not correct.
Sticks and
Six stones
stones.
can break your bones, but words can never harm you. It's the
Oh,
complete opposite.
absolutely.
Words, death and life begins with the
The
tongue.
power of the tongue. And
Yeah,
the scars and the wounds that the words impart, you can't see them,
exactly.
but
Exactly.
they're there. They're
From the
emotional.
heart.
And
Yeah, they're in the heart. Yeah.
after teaching for 44 years, I've seen it. I've seen
Yeah.
what words have done to children. I've seen it in
Yeah.
my own family. But
Yeah.
I decided to go to Arizona because I always had this dream that I was going to live somewhere where there were palm trees and
Mm.
clay tiled roofs.
Oh,
And I
wow.
always said, that's where I'm going to live. But I thought it was going to be California.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always saying, well, I'm headed to California. So I went to Arizona because I used to get Instructor Magazine for teachers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they had an exemplary school district in Mesa, Arizona. And Spirit said, go to Mesa, Arizona. And I said, no, I can't get up and leave and go to Mesa, Arizona. I was talking to a substitute teacher one day, and he was saying, my parents are in Phoenix, uh, and Mesa's right outside of it. I said, you know what? I want to go there. And he said, you know what? I have to fly down there and bring their car back. You want to go? And I said,
Mm.
sure. In the meantime, I had applied to the Arizona State Board of Education and found out that they had a reciprocal agreement with
Mm.
Illinois certificates. So they gave me a temporary teaching certificate. So
Wow.
I go down there and I just absolutely love it. It's March and it's nice out. And I decide I'm moving here. And my grandmother said, "You are the craziest grandchild I have. You just a
Are you
just."
following your passion?
I know. So I
Yeah.
packed them up. I quit the Chicago Public School, pulled my pension down, had my furniture shipped down to Arizona. I did know one person. I went down there and I applied to Mesa School District. I drove down there for an interview, found out they had 300 positions and
Wow.
3,000 applicants.
Whoa.
Now, here's where Spirit said, "Don't you let that scare you, girl." I said,
Wow.
"Okay." And it was, Mesa is a Mormon city, okay? There's
Yeah.
not, there were, back in 1989, there were not a lot of us down there, okay? So
Mhm.
I go down there, I interview, and they say, "Well, we're going to put you in the hopper and we'll let you know." So I'm like, okay, I didn't quit my job in Chicago. I ain't got no job. I'm
Mhm.
about to move all my stuff down here. And they say, "We'll let you know." So I
Mhm.
move all my stuff down there. I drive down there. My sister helps me drive down there with the kids. We find a house
Mhm.
and I've got my pension money. So I say, "Well, I'm going to step out on faith." Spirit said, "Go get you a house and move your kids in and sit there and wait." Well,
Mm.
I'm sitting there and waiting and nobody's called me yet. And then I get this notice that my cell phone's about to go off.
Mm. Mhm.
And Spirit, this is why I know, just let Spirit guide you. Spirit let that telephone stay on. The last call I got was an interview.
Wow.
And I went to the interview. I got the job. I was the only African American teacher ever to teach in that Mormon school. It was absolutely pure joy because
Wow.
I got to show them something. My neighbor, and I moved into a Mormon neighborhood, and my neighbor 2 doors down, she befriended me and we started walking at night. And she would ask me all kinds of questions. She says, you're the first Black person I've ever known. And she said, "And your
Wow.
children are so well behaved. And your house is so clean." I said, "Yeah, we don't throw chicken bones or watermelon rinds on the front lawn."
Wow. But
So
that
it
was her
was,
misperception. Wow.
oh my goodness.
Mm.
And the school was amazing. The principal was just an absolute joy.
Mm.
But
So,
go on.
so what you are explaining, all it's like going through a maze, not knowing where you're going, but you're just following instinctively and intuitively this
What
energy that's
spirit?
pulling you
Yes.
in this direction, without second guessing it. And from the little girl in Chicago in foster care to being a parent in a relationship with 3 children, from moving from Chicago to Arizona, then from Arizona to Las Vegas. I mean, that takes courage. And it's just like this following the maze, people. Following
Yes.
the maze, and the guiding light in front of you is giving you the directions. Just follow the maze. It's
And
amazing.
don't think there weren't some days when I did doubt my own sanity because
Yeah,
they my whole family thought I was woo woo, okay? And
yeah,
I was like, okay, but you know what my children have told me since then? "Thank you, mommy,"
yeah. Oh,
because we got to see a whole nother side of life. If my I don't I had to get my boys out of Chicago. That Spirit had
yeah,
told me that. And and
yeah.
and we did go back once because they said, "Oh, we miss our relatives." And we went back. We came running up out of there. And I said, "See how Spirit worked for me." I quit my job in Chicago and went to Arizona. Then I quit my teaching job in Arizona and went to Las Vegas. Then I quit my job in Las Vegas and went back to Chicago. Each time I got hired back. The Spirit told me, "You're good at what you do. I got you."
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
when I went to Arizona, when I left my position in Chicago, I went to Arizona and I made half of what I had been bringing home in Chicago.
Well,
That taught me.
how is the cost of living?
It was less. It was less,
Mm-hmm.
but still, um, with 3 kids and making half of what I had made in Chicago,
Yeah.
it was a challenge. And my children will tell you stories about taking their lunch to school. It was a bag of popcorn, okay?
Mm.
And dinner was mono meals. Okay.
Mm.
It was cheese melted on a tortilla. Or
Mm.
you had some vegetables. But I'm gonna tell you something. I walked that year, I lost 85 pounds.
Wow.
And it just was an adventure. I'm just an adventurer, and spirit has
Yeah.
always got my back.
Yeah. That's what I love about you, Alice. Is you you were living in Las Vegas and we had met and I became your Reiki teacher. And you said, and we were doing things over the
Uvu, yeah,
yeah, I was going to say the system that predates Zoom. It was way
yeah,
before
yeah.
Zoom, and it had many quirks. But you and another friend of mine, Corshell, were determined to learn about Reiki and to get the training. So we did Reiki 1, and then you said for Reiki 2 in the advanced class, the both of you were going to come to do it in Atlanta in person. And you did it. You left Las Vegas, you and Corshell, and came to Atlanta to finish up your training. You did it. That's wonderful. So I've seen how you've gone through these little quirks in terms of your career, in terms of your living spaces. So what else presented itself as a labyrinth in your world in the
Well,
next 10 minutes?
I always wanted to sing. I've always sung. Always, I was
Oh
always
yeah,
in
yeah,
choirs. I was always in productions. And I
yeah.
told my daddy when I was 9 or 10, Daddy, I'm gonna make a record one day. And he said, okay, okay, honey. And my dad had a beautiful voice. And I was like, I really, really want to make a record. And people would say, well, you're not that good. you know.
Mm,
And my spirit would say, and I was learning and growing in metaphysics and just in life.
mm-hmm.
I said, I gotta try. I gotta try.
Yeah.
And I tried a couple of times, and a couple of times I got kind of shystered out of my money, but I kept trying. And this last time,
Got shiesty out of your money in terms of,
people didn't do what they said they were going to do. They
okay.
took my money and took my demo and didn't do what they were supposed to.
Oh,
And I was like, I can't let this stop me. I can't let this
yeah,
stop.
yeah,
So, and I sang in churches all the time, and I'm always doing weddings and funerals. I'm still doing funerals, but I'm
yeah,
doing them my way. And
yeah.
um, I was in this church, and this young man, he was he had a studio in his home.
Mm-hmm.
And he started listening to me and he said, "You know what? You're really good." I said, "But I want to record." And he got me, sent me to this recording company um, in Oklahoma City.
Mm.
And they listened to my demo and they reached out to me and said, "We would like to partner with you
Wow.
and put a CD together for you." And I was like, "Oh my God." So I
Wow.
worked with the young man. He worked with me on my songs. I wrote 3 of them, and he helped me put them together, and I got it all packaged up. And I had said, in Spirit had told me, one day you're going to turn on the radio and you're going to hear yourself singing.
Mm-hmm.
The CD got done.
Mm.
Um, they distributed it. Amazon still has it. I
Wow.
bought 100 of them and gave them away.
So they're
And
still available on Amazon?
it is. And actually, I tell people to go to YouTube because it's on YouTube for free.
What's the
And
name?
the name of it is Journey of Faith by
Mm.
Alice Turner. Yep.
Hmm.
Alice Turner, Journey of Faith. And you can just type up Alice Turner on YouTube and Journey of Faith, and it'll pop up.
Wow.
And I dedicated it to Spirit. I got dedicated to God, and it's called a jazzy gospel.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and
I like that.
here in Vegas, the radio, things opened up for me. Spirit just opened the way for me, and I
Mhm.
did a gospel brunch, a gospel breakfast here once, and they played my music on the radio. And
Mm.
people were calling in and asking for it, requesting it. So the day that I turned that radio on and heard Now a Tune by Alice
Yeah.
Turner, Journey of Faith, I
Yeah.
just cried.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's so everyone too. I apologize. It's like I had something that I had eaten, so my eyes kind of like slanting a little because I had like slight little not allergic reaction to it, but if they're looking like they're closed, they really are not. They really are not. You know.
But they look good.
Oh, thank you. But the whole thing is that my body will have them shut a little bit. So I'm here. I'm here. Don't think that I'm not here. But that's amazing. But you know, and you've done some other really wonderful things like a colon
Oh,
hydrotherapist.
hydrotherapy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a beautiful vocalist, educator, humanitarian mentor, and then she decided to become a colon hydrotherapist. So let's talk briefly about that in the short time that we have left.
I
So how did you
wonder
segue? See, this is the
to
level
that.
that we're talking about,
I know.
people.
I've been all
It's
over
like
the
we're
place.
going this way. She started out on this journey, and then she became a model, and she did this. So it's just like the turns in her life. So let's talk about that, and then your modeling, and then how you got back into spirituality and therapy. So what led you to become a colon hydrotherapist?
I I started having seizures when
Mm.
I was 26.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know why. They called them hemitetany seizures. And I was always reading medical. I wanted to be a doctor. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a
Mm.
doctor. And my chemistry teacher, this is why words and people saying things to you
Yes,
can hurt you.
yes,
My
yes.
chemistry teacher just put me out on Front Street in chemistry my senior year and said to me, Turner, you want to be a doctor? You can't even pass basic chemistry.
Wow.
And I was mortified and I said, okay, I guess I can't be a doctor. And then my counselor, well meaning, she said, oh, your people always need good teachers. I'm gonna
Oh,
get
she was Caucasian.
yeah. She said,
Yeah.
I can get you this scholarship and that scholarship. And she did, you know, I went to school, but I still had this I loved learning about the body. I would
Yeah.
buy anatomy and physiology books and just read them and see how things worked. And when I became a mom, I had my daughter and she was 2 years old. And I just decided that I wanted to go back and take chemistry.
Mm.
So I went to junior college and I took the basic chemistry and then I took the regular chemistry and I aced it. And then I decided I'm going to medical school. And,
Mm.
you know, and the father said, are you crazy? And I said, no. And so I took the MCAT and I
Wow.
passed it.
Wow. See, I didn't know that. She never told me this. That's why I love having these podcasts with my friends. I learned something new about them. Really?
I knocked my light down. And now, mind you, I hadn't been to med school, but I
Yeah.
just knew that I could pass this because
And you took the MCATs? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And I was like, you know what?
That's a medical exam, everyone.
Right.
Before you are admitted into medical school, you have to take the MCATs, the
And I
medical college
said,
admissions test. That's what
right. And I said, I can do anything. My light is falling down, guys. I said, I can do anything I put my mind to.
Mm-hmm.
That set me on a course of spirit. Take the wheel.
Yeah.
You know, take
Drive
the
the
wheel.
car. Drive the car.
I'm gonna be dark, but you
No,
guys.
it's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine.
So and then I started looking. Oh yeah, yeah. I started looking at how the body worked, and I was fortunate enough to run into these absolutely wonderful people who were colon hydrotherapists. They were uh, a team, a husband and wife team, and
Mm-hmm.
I went to them to get a colonic, and it was I know I knew them from another, another lifetime. They
Mm-hmm.
became my godparents,
Mm.
and they taught me colon hydrotherapy.
Wow. And for
And
everyone who may not be familiar with colonics, colonics are like,
irrigation of the bowel.
yes,
It,
yes. You're
it,
sticking a tube in the rectum.
mhm.
And
Sending
it's,
gallons and gallons of water through that colon and rinsing it out because your colon is your main drain. And when
mm-hmm.
your main drain is not functioning properly, you get all kinds of, your gut microbiome holds millions and millions. Actually, you have more microbes in your gut than you do in your body. Okay.
Wow. I've
Just
heard that
a little bit more.
life begins and ends in the colon. I've heard that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I've
So,
heard that.
and that helped me. And my children will tell you that they were guinea pigs, but they later thanked me because they know how to take care of their colons
Mm-hmm.
and they know when they've overdone it,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And I just I stayed in the vein of napropathy. I mean naturopathy.
Mm-hmm.
My godmother just made her transition at 95,
Mm.
and she just embraced me. And when I went to see her right before she made her transition, she hugged me and she said, "The moment I saw you, I knew you were mine."
Oh,
That
wow.
so surprised me
Oh,
because
wow.
she taught me so much, and she was metaphysical.
Oh, wow.
They
Oh,
taught
yeah.
me so much.
Oh, wow. Well, in the short time that we have left, because we're gonna have to bring you back, darling. But so you did that for a period of time, and then your next journey, this was before you became a colon hydrotherapist. So, but what led you into modeling? In between working as an educator, in between finding her way through metaphysics, going to metaphysical
And
school,
in between being a jazz nightclub singer,
in between being a jazz nightclub singer and a mom.
uh,
Yeah. So how did you get into being
my
a
sister
model?
was a model. My sister was just drop dead gorgeous, and I never thought that I was. And
Mm.
and one day, um, I had lost a lot of weight because I was a chubby kid, and a chubby. And I looked in the mirror and I said, "You know what? I could probably do that too." And
Mm.
so my sister encouraged me because she was a makeup artist, and I went and I had my portfolio done.
Mm.
And Susanna Johnson's modeling agency saw my portfolio, and she just embraced me and she trained me.
Wow.
And then I didn't do much in that because of my big mouth. Because I went on a on a on a thing for Marshall Fields, and they said the dress that you have to get into is a size 14. I said, but my headshot says I'm a 16, 18. And they said, well, you just have to lose weight and get into the dress. And I said, this is for Lane Bryant, this dress. I said, that's false advertising. People that are 16, 18 and above want to see what dress looks like on someone that size. That
Mm-hmm.
is misleading. Well, needless to say, I got blackballed.
Mm.
Was talking too much. But I did get to experience, some of what high fashion. I went to New York and my
Mm.
big mouth got me in trouble. because they they interviewed me and they looked at my headshot and they talked as if I weren't there. And they
They're
said,
talking all well around. Yeah.
yeah, they said, "Oh, is that your nose?" I'm like, yeah, the last time I checked. And, and they said, okay. And one said to the other, you know what? Her lips are too thin to be black.
Wow.
And they just handed me my portfolio back. And they said, no, not interested. I went downstairs, and at that time there were no cell phones. I went downstairs in the lobby of this building in New York, and I called them up. And I said, this is the person that you just told me that my lips were too thin to be black. I said, we all don't have soup coolers. Click. And I said, oh my God. And I didn't do that anymore, but it was fun. And I have a portfolio and it's nice. And
Yeah, I've seen a picture of you too. It's beautiful as a model. So you've gone in three, 3 minutes. You've gone this travel, this wonderful road of experiences, this labyrinth. You started
yeah,
out in one place, then made a turn, and then you pursued that interest, and then you made another turn and you pursued
yeah.
that interest. So your life is very full. What would you like people to know? What lasting message would you like to leave with this beautiful, wonderful audience? And what's your contact information? And where are you now on your journey? And what would you like for people to know? And your
On
contact
my
information.
journey now, I'm about to turn 75 in 3 months. Okay. On my journey now, I sit back and I reflect and what I want to do is what I call navigational nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
want to help others
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
on and give them because you really don't do things for you. You do things for other people. And what you go through
Yeah.
is so you can help. And I want to help others and show them what helped me on my along my journey. And I do
Mm-hmm.
that with my grandchildren. And I actually do that with anybody that I meet that is interested. I'm not gonna, push my beliefs off on them. But just like I say, allowing spirit, that essence, get in touch with your higher self.
Mm-hmm.
Know who you are, why you came here. And that's what happens. That's when you start to cultivate your spirituality. Get
Mm-hmm.
your practices together, yoga,
Mm-hmm.
meditation,
Mm-hmm.
prayer, like I said before, and to be the best you can possibly be. Now, don't think I
Yeah.
don't still have challenges.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know how to navigate. I know how to pivot. I know how not to fall back into default for very long. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I
And
do
we all
slip.
have those occasional, regressed moments. We all have
Yeah.
those. Yeah,
You
that's part
slip
of the
and
human
you dip.
experience.
And I'm learning and Professor Jamila knows me all too well. I will buck and kick and and then say, okay,
Yeah.
this came to teach me. Okay, what did it come to teach me?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So if I can leave you with anything, just live your life like it's golden because it is.
I love
Take
it.
stock of what you've done, what you've been through, and rejoice, celebrate.
Yes, and you've done such a wonderful, wonderful job. Show the people your shirt. We can both show them.
Oh,
Our
okay.
shirts,
Let me see.
gray lives on the
Green
rise.
lights on the rise. Green lights on the rise. Green
Yes,
lights on the
and I'm
rise.
putting you on the spot, beautiful Alice. If you want to do the jingle, if you remember.
I do. Okay.
Okay, okay, and I'll just be clapping for you. Okay.
Who are we? What are we? Who are we? 50 plus. What are we? We are gray lives on the rise, living lives that are golden, loving seasoned and emboldened. Who are we? What are we? Who are we? 50 plus. What are we? We are gray lives on the rise.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you, beloved. So we're done.
Awesome.
If people want to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me at turneralice12@gmail.com.
Okay.
And you can go to YouTube and type in Journey of Faith by Alice Turner, and you can pull up my CD and listen to my jazzy gospels and my 2 lullabies.
Beautiful voice, beautiful voice, beautiful spirit. And you're going to see her again because we're doing another video regarding some of the wonderful experiences that she's had with the Yende Institute. Thank you, beautiful soul. Love you much.
Thank you.
So to the audience, thank you again for joining us and being a part of this wonderful experience called Gray
Lives
on the
on the
Rise.
rise.
So everyone, tune into our YouTube channel, and until next time, beloveds, we love you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Gray Lives on the Rise, being brought to you by Jamila Sense, which is the product line of Oyende Enterprises. Jamila Sense is a 100% natural aromatherapy line that heals the mind, body, and soul. This episode of Gray Lives on the Rise was intended to uplift you, to inspire you, and to motivate you. Please tell all of your friends, family members, and anyone you know who's 50 plus, who's living a vibrant life and interested in doing more and enjoying life even to its fullest. So thank you, and please subscribe, like, and comment on this video and all our videos. Thank you, and until next time, until our next podcast, namaste and be well.